Hi, it's your boy, Steven Mollura, and I wanted to talk to you about self-sacrifice and maybe putting yourself as equal as everyone else. So I'm seeing one of my clients, and we get into it, and he's experiencing some resentment around his obligations. And I'm like, well, are you an individual? And he's like, I'm a father first, a husband, and then far down on the totem pole, I'm an individual. It's like, interesting. That, of course, will be resentful then. Now, what if it was a tribunal? What if it was not a hierarchy, but three people at a table? You got your fatherhood, your husbandhood, and you as an individual, and any time a decision comes up, all three need to leave happy. And the counter, of course, was like, well, Steve, one cases of emergencies. Yeah, I know. Sometimes you do have to self-sacrifice if your kids are dying in a burning building or something. Go save them. Maybe at the expense of your own life. That's a thing. That's an even trade. It's random and tragic, but that's the nature of the universe. But most of the time, that actual existential self-sacrifice is very rare. But even just like having to do this as a sense of obligation or because that's just what people do, that's also rare too. Self-sacrifice at your own expense isn't really supposed to happen that much. Two people sit down at a table, both are supposed to leave happier than where they began. Or they don't exchange. You just say, hey, our deal isn't going to work out. And if you've been raised to be a person who gets value from self-sacrifice, or if it doesn't hurt, it doesn't count, or your needs are worth less than the people around you, then that's a real problem. In fact, putting yourself as equal as everyone else with your own needs and your own desires and expectations and deserving to be here too might feel guilt-inducing. The shame might come up. The humility to the point of vice, the idea of like, what's so great about you? Why do you think you're so good to be at the table? Yeah, it's all going to come up if you've been raised that way. Now, if you're raised in a traumatic environment or a manipulative one, maybe the self-sacrifice, maybe the fawning response was actually a way to keep yourself sane and safe in a terrible situation. But now you're over 18 or just maybe over 40, and it's like, wait, I need to deserve to be here too. Resentment builds because obligation implies you don't have a choice. Stop. When little Billy, or your wife, or your husband, or whoever, says, hey, I need you to do X, Y, and Z. Stop and think for 5 minutes. And even say, listen, I heard what you just said. Give me 5 minutes to think about it. And be like, is this something I want to do? Is this something I can do right now with the energy, attention, time, maybe money I have available right now? And can I do this in a way that doesn't lead to further resentment and a strain on my relationship? And if the answer is yes, then go do it. But if the answer is no, that needs to be renegotiated. And maybe it means I'm not going to do this, period. Maybe it means I'm not going to do this now, or I'm not going to do this, but let me call a friend to help you out. Now, your counter to that as well could be, but Steve, if I see my daughter or my wife crying, I'm not going to take 5 minutes. I need to address this now. Because as you know, if you love someone and they're in distress, you're going to experience that distress too. To which I say, so what? Experience it. Let her cry, feel the pain, maybe even feel guilt about not fixing it in quotation marks, immediately, as if that's your job. God forbid someone actually experiences some negative emotion for 5 minutes. And then be like, yeah, this is horrifying and terrible. What do I do? Do I want to do this? No, because it'll actually lead to more misery. Okay, then I'm not going to do it. It also goes into like one of my other videos where it's like so many people go towards the immediate solution. I see little Billy crying. I don't like him crying. I'm going to just do anything to soothe or anything to fix his emotions. It's like, wait a minute. Maybe there's a better way to do this. Maybe just a little bit of comfort is necessary, but maybe little Billy needs to cry it out. Maybe his dog just died and he's supposed to be crying. That's not something to fix. That's just something to experience for right now. Maybe the distress is something that's actually going to help him grow or her grow, whatever. Point is, stop. Does this serve me as an individual? Does this serve my family? And including with part of me as an individual in this family. And it's a tough thing to do, but just try it. Try it next time it comes up.